endorsement as a necessary step in drawing national government's attention to what the group considered its serious governance issue under the Boakai administration. Away from Liberia now, jihadist fighters have launched a series of simultaneous attacks on military posts across numerous towns in Mali, a major assault on the army over the last month. Details of these developments, the news bulletin, and the voices of the news makers are all packaged. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the full bulletin of news. Welcome back. Up next is the bulletin of news with Newton Tokwa.
Nimba County District 7 Representative Musa Beleti has fulfilled a promise by donating a brand new pickup truck to the Clark Hope Foundation and City of Hope Academy. The donation comes as part of Beleti's continued support for educational and community initiatives in Liberia. The Clark Hope Foundation, established in honor of former First Lady Clark Marie Weah, is committed to empowering young girls through education and various development programs. In a statement released Wednesday, Madam Clark Marie Weah, the founder of the foundation, expressed heartfelt gratitude to Representative Bellet for his timely and generous contribution. She described the donation as a significant boost to the foundation's ability to deliver on its mission, especially in reaching underprivileged girls across the country. Meanwhile, the new vehicle is expected to enhance the foundation's daily operations, including transportation, among other things. According to the foundation, the pickup truck will directly benefit the City of Hope Academy, which serves as a safe learning space for young girls. The National Elections Commission International Identification Registry have signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at improving coordination and advancing national digital identification efforts. The signing ceremony brought together government officials from ministries and agencies, donor partners, and key private sector actors. Giving an overview of the biometric voters' kits during the occasion, NEC Executive Director for Operations, Madam Emma Tukbat, outlined the process that led to the signing ceremony of both institutions. According to her, the aim of the MOU is to digitalize Liberia and promote sustainable economic growth and development through effective national identification registry. Also speaking, NEC Chairperson Madam Deviata Brown Lassana said the occasion is aimed to sign an MOU and transfer 500 biometric registry kits to National Identification Registry. For his part, NRO Executive Director Peter Andrews described the ceremony as a milestone achievement in the history of both entities. He further indicated that the National Identification Registry is grateful for the cooperation, noting that the MOU will boost NRO capacity in terms of enrollment, equipment, and safe for Liberian government and more finances. The special grand jury of Monserrate County has drawn its indictment against former House Speaker Councillor Jonathan Funatikova and 14 others in what is now being described as one of the most explosive criminal cases in recent Liberian history. The charges relate to alleged arson attack on the Capitol building, seat of the National Legislature, which took place on December 18, 2024. Filed before Criminal Court 8 under the jurisdiction of Judge Roosevelt Woolley, the indictment outlines a broad conspiracy involving current and former officials as well as unnamed accomplices allegedly tied to a coordinated and violent assault on the nation's legislative complex. According to court documents, the accused are said to have met, conspired, and executed a plan to burn the joint chambers of the Capitol building, resulting in over US 3.7 million in property damage. The arson, prosecutors claim, was politically motivated and intended to disrupt legislative operations and intermediate majority bloc lawmakers. Kavi Bad Alas Kaba, Jerry Stephen Braw, John Yanti, Honorable Dixon Sibo, Patient Bestman, Harry Lane, Grace Johnson, Abu Kamara, Jacobs Debbie, Christian Kofa, Amos Kova, Eric Susi, Thomas Erich, Alas Tom, and former Speaker Fonati Kofa. They face charges to include criminal attempt to commit murder, arson, criminal mischief, criminal conspiracy, criminal facilitation, and solicitation, release of destructive forces, recklessly endangering another person. The prosecution alleged that the plot began on December 18, 2024, during a clandestine meeting near the Kunes gas station in Jalatown. The Deputy Minister for Economic Management at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Zepu Zhu, has called for transformative reforms in the global financial system and renewed commitments to multilateralism. Speaking on behalf of the Finance and Development Planning Minister, Augustin Gafwan, Deputy Minister Zhu extended Liberia's gratitude to the King government and people of Spain for their warm hospitality in hosting this pivotal event aimed at redefining global development financing. Minister Zhou expressed appreciation to United Nations member states for electing Liberia as a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council, stating that Liberia is ready to work collaboratively to advance global agenda for peace and sustainable development. He aligned Liberia's position with what that of the African Union and the G77 plus China, reiterating Liberia's commitment to global cooperation. Deputy Minister Zuo emphasized the urgency of the conference, noting that despite the adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals a decade ago, with the commitment to leave no stone behind, many of the goals remain unmet. He attributed this to growing economic inequalities, the effect of climate change, and a steep decline in official development assistance, all of which have intensified global poverty and human suffering. Liberian activist Marcin Tape has emphasized the urgent need for nationwide collaboration to improve the country's educational sector. Speaking over the weekend as a guest speaker at the Teching graduation ceremony of the Royal Academy International School, Tape warned that without collective effort, the necessary changes to Liberia's educational system will remain out of reach. He also stressed the role of students in combating corruption within academic institutions, urging them to report all forms of malpractices. Tappet further called on parents and school administrators to prioritize the educational development of the future generation, describing it as a national responsibility. For his part, Bishop Lawrence Jackson, founder of the Royal Academy International School, highlighted the importance of spiritual and academic growth in Liberia and encouraged parents and community members to take full advantage of the Royal Academy's offerings for affordable quality education. The political leader of the Liberian People's Party, Councillor Tewun Gonglo, has underscored the importance of selfless leadership in building a better Liberia. Speaking at the second anniversary ceremony of the Reformers National Congress, Councillor Gonglo emphasized that leadership should be measured not by titles or positions, but by positive impact leaders make in the lives of the ordinary citizens. He urged the newly appointed leaders of the RNC to lead with commitment, honor, and a sense of national duty, especially in these critical times. For his part, the newly national chairman of the Reformers National Congress, Daniel Dashers, expressed dissatisfaction with the Unity Party-led government. He noted that despite one of the first political parties to endorse the Unity Party during the 2023 general elections, the RNC has not been offered any meaningful role in governance. The chairman called on the government to prioritize what they describe as bread and butter issues that directly impact the daily lives of the ordinary Liberians, as promised during the 2023 campaign. He reaffirmed his commitment to strengthening the internal structure of the RNC and preparing the party for a more strategic role in the 2029 general elections. The Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia has officially endorsed the planned July 17 protest organized by the group under the banner "We the People in collaboration with Solidarity and Trust for a New Day." Speaking at the event, PROSA chairman Justin Jelaba described the endorsement as a necessary step in at drawing national government attention to what the group considers serious governance issues under the administration of President Joseph Boakai. Jalaba criticized President Boakai, accusing him of misplacing national priorities, pointing to the recent reburial of former Liberian presidents Samuel K. Doe and William Albert Turbot and other Liberian statesmen. Calling to the student leader, depending resources on spending resources on reburial ceremonies at a time the economy of the country is in crisis sends out the wrong message in the wake of the ongoing struggles many Liberians face daily, including inflation, unemployment, and inadequate public services. Jalaban emphasized that Liberia is currently grappling with deep economic hardship, which he believes is being worsened by the widespread corruption and the lack of accountability in government, and further urged all Liberians, especially the youth, to come out in large numbers to participate in the planned protests to call on government's attention on issues including economic hardship, corruption, and the lack of accountability in governance. And President Joseph Boakai will host a National Healing, Reconciliation, and Unity program on Saturday at the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Ministerial Complex in Congo Town. Announcing the upcoming event, Dr. Jasso Jala, Minister of Education and Chairperson of the National Reburial and Reconciliation Committee, emphasized that this national gathering will honor not only the memories of Liberia's former leaders, but also the thousands of citizens who perished during the country's brutal civil conflict and the deadly Ebola epidemic and the devastating COVID-19 pandemic. The July 5th event will bring together members of the three branches of government, representatives of the diplomatic community, faith-based and traditional leaders, youth and women groups, international organizations, and civil society actors.
It's a regular feature of this news. One of our top developments we further in this evening. Special grand jury of Monserrado County indicts former House Speaker Funati Kofa and 14 other suspects in connection with the alleged Capitol building arson attack. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you voices of the news makers. Welcome back. Let's now take our first development, beginning with this story. The National Elections Commission and the National Identification Registry have signed a memorandum of understanding aimed at improving coordination and advancing national digital identification efforts. The signing ceremony brought together the government officials from ministries and agencies, donor partners, and key private sector actors. Giving the overview of the biometric voter Kate during the occasion, NEC Executive Director for Operation Manan Eman Topat aligned the process that led to the signing of the MOU between the both institutions.
This joining is not out of a clear blue sky. This joining started in 2018. Early coordination and assessment. The Commission, through the UNDP project, hired a consultant who came in 2018 to explore the possibility of NEC partnering with NRR any way possible. From 2019 to 2022, there were a series of meetings between NRR and NEC. Before we end 2022, we had to cut that off because we had to conduct voter registration for the Liberian people, which we carry out, and we managed to register 2,471,670 voters. Come 2024, series of meetings again and planning. Throughout 2024, Commissioner Lassana and Honorable Peters had several meetings while technicians for NRR and NEC also held several meetings. Chairperson Lassana and Honorable Peters constituted at the two entities two different technical working groups. In the same 2024, Commissioner Lansana, who is the chairperson here, she constituted what you call a technical group, but also placed a commissioner at the head of that group, Commissioner Morgan Hour. In that same 2024, the Honorable Peters and Commissioner Lansana again went to a meeting at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to discuss digitizing Liberia to promote sustainable economic growth and development. In the same 2024, NRR again came to NEC to look at what she called her biometric voter registration kits to see how feasible it would be to use these kits. In the same 2024, NRR invited NEC to Ghana for 3 days. Fortunately, we also had a team in Ghana, so we asked our team to liaise with NRR so they can see what they were planning while in Ghana.
Also speaking at the occasion, NEC chairperson David Etta Brown Lassanan said the occasion is aimed to sign an MOU and transfer 500 biometric registry kits through the National Identification Registry.
On behalf of the National Elections Commission, signing a memorandum of understanding with the NRR, transfer some 500 biometric kits to that entity of government is a milestone achievement for both of our institutions. You are already aware that the NEC and NRR over the years have had a protracted period of engagement to support national digitization and related technological infrastructure for Liberians. Today, the NEC is responding to that call. I note that while this interagency transfer is being conducted, we should be mindful that both of our institutions remain operable within our individual mandates until, at such time, the laws governing both institutions may say otherwise. The Commission extends thanks to the government of Liberia for making it possible for the NEC to obtain the biometric kits, some 1,000 of them, which, of course, you know, we used during our voter registration in 2022. The Commission also expresses thanks to the UN, international organizations, and regional communities for their unwavering material, advocacy, and financial support to deepening democracy in Liberia. This, of course, has guided us in our processes as we continue to exhibit.
For his part, and at our executive director Peter Andrews described the ceremony as a milestone achievement in the history of both entities. He further indicated that the National Identification Registry is grateful for the cooperation, noting that the MOU will boost NRR's capacity in terms of enrollment, equipment, and save the Liberian government more finances.
We at the National Identification Registry are particularly glad for this collaboration with the National Elections Commission. It can be recalled that in May 2024, right after our launch of the roadmap for comprehensive enrollment of all citizens and legal residents in the Republic of Liberia, the NEC was the first institution of government that reached out to us and officially requested a copy of our roadmap. We then provided NET a copy of our roadmap. And it was from that time NET and NIR relationship started. We started off with technical working committees through which we could find a way of cooperation and collaboration. Since that time, our collaboration has grown from strength to strength. We therefore, in this public manner, thank the NET for reaching to us and making our plan a reality for today. Today marks a major milestone in our collaboration, the signing of a memorandum of understanding for the sharing of data, equipment, technical knowledge for enhancement of data collection, storage, and protection. In this collaboration, the NET has agreed to give us the 500 enrollment case of which they have just demonstrated. We are grateful for this gesture of NET, which will boost our capacity in terms of enrollment, equipment, and serve government, to save government a lot of money. Because if we were to monitor this case, it would be about 2 to 3 million United States dollars. Something NET has just demonstrated that.
And our executive director, Andrew Peters, there speaking. Earlier, you listened to the voice of NEC chairperson David Eto Brown Lassana, and also the executive director for operation, Manat Eman Toba. The political leader of the Liberian People's Party, Councillor Tiawan Gonglo, has underscored the importance of selfless leadership in building a better country. Speaking at the second anniversary of celebration of the Reformers National Congress, Councillor Gonglo emphasized that leadership should be measured not by titles or position, but by the positive impact leaders make in the lives of ordinary citizens. He urged newly appointed leaders of the RNC to lead with commitment, honor, and a sense of national duty, especially in these critical times.
Selflessness is the key to good leadership. True leaders do not measure success by the size of their motorcades, the cost of their convoys, or the comfort of their private jets. True leaders measure success by the lives they uplift, the schools they build, the clinics they stop. Yet today, we still see public servants rolling through our streets in long convoys of expensive vehicles worth millions of dollars, while in our own neighborhoods, children sit on broken benches in crumbling classrooms, and many public schools lack chairs, textbooks, and even teachers. Basic medicines for treatable illnesses are lacking. Women die in childbirth from one of simple medical supplies. In my view, this is not merely mismanagement. We can only succeed if we rise beyond our party limitations. Leadership must be about service to the people, not self-service. It must be about sacrifice, not self-indulgence. When a leader puts self above country, the nation suffers. When a leader puts people above position, the nation suffers. We need leaders who will forgo the luxury fleet and ride in single fuel-efficient vehicle if it means saving money for school desks and medical supplies. My fellow Liberians, today's ceremony is more than an induction of new leaders. It should mark the rebirth of our collective consciousness as a political party. Commit yourselves to selflessness. Pledge that every decision you make will be guided by one question: how will this benefit the people I serve? If it doesn't serve them, it must not serve you as a leader. As you have taken your oath of leadership today, remember that power is a trust, not a trophy.
Also speaking at the ceremony, Monserrato County District 1 Representative Kennedy Pee Wee Sandal called on the national government to ensure a balanced and impartial justice system. He urged authority to treat both former and current government officials equally under the law.
Don't overlook, we are not small. Maybe we might be small inside, but we are big outside there. We want to commend the government for the fight corruption in this country, but they have to do it holistically. That is to fight this own official. We see only suspect, but the action are not taken. We want for action to take place now. You cannot suspect somebody when there is no action. When you carry other people to jail, they see when you carry other people to jail, carry your government official to jail. That means you balance the thing, right? So we want a balanced investigation in the whole corruption fight. So we want to call the government, you are doing the right thing, but doing more. As you fighting the outsider for your own children, those that have been suspended, some of them are gone almost 2 months. We didn't see them to solve it. We want to see them going to solve it the same way. If they go there, somebody say they are born, no problem. But we want to see them going there. Thank you very much. Let you enjoy ourselves. Thank you.
Monserrato County District 1 Representative Kennedy P. Wisano speaking. Earlier, you listened to the political leader of the Liberian People's Party, Councillor Tiawan Gonglo. Still with more developments, the Deputy Minister for Economic Management at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Depo Zuo, has called for transformative reforms in the global financial system and renewed commitment. Speaking on behalf of Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gafwan, Minister Zuo extended Liberia's gratitude to the king, government, and people of Spain for their warm hospitality in hosting their pivotal event aimed at redefining global development finances. Minister Zuo expressed appreciation to the United States member states for electing Liberia to a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council, stating that Liberia is ready to work collaboratively to advance the global agenda for peace and sustainable development.
Second of Liberia to the non-permanent seat at the Security Council of the United Nations. Staying ready to work collaboratively with all countries in meeting the UN agenda for world peace and sustainable development. We also align our statement with those of the African Union of 77 plus China to ensure equitable access to resources in the implementation of SDG. This financing for development conference is very crucial to our common agenda for strengthening multilateralism, achieving global peace and security, and deepening development. 10 years ago, we agreed on this, the Sustainable Development Goal, with a great promise to leave no one behind. Today, we have gathered at this critical junction when SDGs are highly underachieved, with widening economic inequalities exacerbated by worsening effect of climate disasters, further compounding human suffering and poverty. We are witnessing steep decline in overseas development assistance (ODA) and rising and unsustainable debt burden. These troubling realities must prepare us to commit our path to the future to accelerate the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goal.
He is the Deputy Minister for Economic Management at the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, Depo Zuo is speaking. Well, we're almost half an hour now past the news presentation. This is a reminder you are listening to the Wednesday, July 2, 2025 edition of Queen's News Report. And top stories, we are furthering special grand jury of Monserrato County that's former Speaker Funaki Kofa and 14 others suspect in connection with the arson Capitol building case. National Elections Commission announces the transfer of 500 biometric registry kits to the National Identification Registry aimed at improving coordination and advancing national digital identification effort in Liberia. And also, Progressive Students Alliance of the University of Liberia endorses the planned July 17 protest organized by a group under the battle with the people in collaboration with STEM. While PROSA chairman Justin Jaliba described the endorsement as a necessary step in drawing national government attention to what the group considers serious governing issues under the boycott administration. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you more developments. Welcome back. Let's now continue with more news. The Progressive Students Alliance of the University of Liberia has officially endorsed the planned July 17 protest organized by a group under the banner We the People in partnership with Solidarity and Trust for a New Day. Speaking at the event, PROSA chairman Justin Jaliba described the endorsement as a necessary step aimed at drawing government's attention to what the group considers serious governance issue under the administration of President Joseph Boakai. Jaliba criticized President Boakai, accusing him of misplacing national priorities, pointing out to the recent reburial of former Liberian presidents Samuel K. Doe and William R. Todber and other Liberian statesmen.
I want to say to you here, ladies and gentlemen of the press, as we read the endorsement statement, I want to say to all militants will be posted, and we say, Progressive Student Alliance, PROSA, President of the Capital Hill, and Hoga Labrie, Office of the Chairman, PROSA endorses the pending July 17 protest. When disciples of egalitarianism, crusade of social justice, academic freedom and peace, the dejected masses of our people, exploited plantation and mine workers, conscious students of the Republic, progressive members of the full estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with unwavering determination and a strong sense of justice, the Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia stands as the only remaining voice in the youth and student community that tirelessly fight for the right and well-being of the masses of our people. Our unwavering commitment to the defending the marginalized and upholding the values of liberty is the reason why we have never wavered in our existence. Through our history, our stance has always been on the side of the defenseless and oppressed, as we believe in the power of the collective to bring about positive change and promote equality. We refuse to be silent or compromised. For one fact, and amongst many other reasons, we have witnessed before our eyes the President of the Republic in the midst of hunger is riding a vehicle worth over millions of dollars. The tragic reality of Liberia's current political climate. As we take a stroll through the political atmosphere of our village country, Liberia, the land of liberty found on fertile soil, it is with a heavy heart that we must acknowledge the sad truth that this once blessed land has been delivered into the hands of crooks, thieves, and bandits. The current United government elected on a platform of rescue and change has instead become synonymous with corruption and greed. The ordinary people who place their trust in them, hoping for a better future, have been left disheartened and disillusioned. The motto of this administration, promising to rescue the Liberian people, for our struggling nation, has proven to be nothing more than a facade. The looting of state resources without any sense of remorse or accountability has become a regular occurrence. Extrajudicial killings and a blatant death become the norm. The use of tear gas on peaceful citizens, the peaceful protesters, simply to silence their voices have become a common tactic used by the regime.
Justin Jaliba is the chairperson of the Progressive Students Alliance of the University of Liberia there speaking. And now, ahead of the news presentation is a foreign development, but this development sets the pace. Liberian activist Marcin Tapet has emphasized the urgent need for nationwide collaboration to improve the country's education sector. Speaking over the weekend as a guest speaker at the 13th graduation ceremony of the Royal Academy International School, Tapet warned that without collective effort, the necessary changes to Liberia's educational system will remain out of reach. He also stressed the role of students in combating corruption within academic institutions, urging them to report often of malpractices.
We do not solicit an effort to come together and make a progressive end. Liberia is going nowhere. I can tell anybody. Liberia is going nowhere if we are still using our ability to promote corrupt institutions. Academic institutions are going nowhere. The students are still supporting a corrupt instructor. This school is going nowhere if we sit here as a senior student and you support an instructor that is corrupt and practice injustice. If you make progress in this institution, you need to collaborate and redefine the path of learning. To redefine the path of learning, you have to recognize a particular purpose. Your purpose as Liberians is to end the aspect of impunity. Your purpose as students is to end corruption. Your purpose as students is to end injustice that been practiced in our schools. Do not be a student that will support malpractice. Do not be a student that will support corruption in your school. Do not be a student that will support wrong. Do not be a teacher that will support corruption. Do not be a teacher that will bring division in the school. Do not be a teacher that will undermine the school. When you are a teacher, you provide a pathway for students to be impacted. And that impact is not negativism. That impact is positivism. When you are a teacher, you are there to direct the future of the students. You are not there to harass the female student. You are not there to harass. You are not there to call a female student to your house. You are not there to call a female student to a motel. You are not there to call a female student to a friend's house. You are not there to encourage a female student to drink liquor with you. You are not there to encourage a female student. You're not there to encourage that young brother who is going to school. It's spending a lot of money encouraging him to be an alcoholic. So we encourage you today, as you've done extremely well with these students, we encourage you to sustain that capacity. We encourage you to sustain that moral. We encourage you to maintain what is right for the good image of this institution.
And now, away from Liberia, jihadist fighters have launched a series of simultaneous attacks on military posts across a number of towns in Mali. The third major assault on the army over the last month. Mali military said it repelled Tuesday's morning attack alleged it carried out by the jihadist group. For more than a decade, Mali has been terrorized by a deadly Islamic insurgency assault and wild attack from separate movement. In a statement broadcast on Nation TV, Army spokesperson Suruhamin Dimbili said the army suffered significant losses in every location where they engaged with the security and defense forces. Colonel Dibele added that the army recovered weapons, vehicles, and motorcade from the assassins. Earlier, the army falls and that the attack had occurred across 7 towns and cities, including Baubilat, Kens, and Sandri, near the border with Senegal. There were also attacks further north near Mali's Fraternite with Mauritania. A resident of Keys told the BBC that gunshots could be heard everywhere during the attack. The police station was damaged as well as governor's offices. He said, adding that casualty figures were still unclear. That's the foreign development, and this is how we go home on today's edition of the news program. Before we take leave of you, here are top stories. We closed it for you. Special grand jury of Monserrato County indicts a former Speaker Funati Kofa and 14 other suspects in connection with the alleged Capitol building arson attack. National Elections Commission announces the transfer of 500 biometric registry kits to the National Identification Registry and at improving coordination and advancing national digital identification efforts in Liberia. Progressive Students Alliance of the University of Liberia endorses the planned July 17 protest organized by a group under the Baron with the people in partnership with STEM. RUSA Chairperson Justin Jaliba described the endorsement as a necessary step in drawing national government's attention towards the group considers serious governance issue under the Boakai administration, away from whom jihadist fighters have launched a series of simultaneous attacks on military posts across numerous towns in Mali and the third major assault on the army over the last month. It's note, we'd like to say many thanks to our news writers, editors, for making today's news presentation a success. Newton Topa brought us the news bulletin. St. Andrews SATA control and ably coordinated sound system. On behalf of the entire news team here at King's FM, I'm Stephen Compton. Thanks for listening and watching.